be considered stolen. There's nothing you're gonna do. Okay, our sheriff, Doug Engel, refuses to do his job. What's up, everyone? I just want to point something out. There's people telling me I'm, you know, in the comments acting like I'm wasting my time or I'm not proving nothing and all this. Well, one thing on the proving stuff is if they're, you know, they say things that make me think they're watching the videos, but how much of it are you watching? Because, you know, a guy got on here and I can't remember the comment right now, but anyways, pretty much like I ain't proving nothing. And, you know, but the thing about that is the harder they make it on my situation, the harder it is for me to do that. Okay, everything they've done to me is hard for me to get to all my stuff and put the stuff up there, but I'll do what I can, and you know, everything I'm saying is provable, and I believe I've proven a lot of things already. Some of the stuff is people are watching and they're oh, well, that's not true, and because they're thinking because they know a cop or somebody, or you know, somebody in the system, and they ask them and they say no, that's not true, so they take it as gospel, where I'm not, anything I'm putting off as truth. I assure you, I've checked into it and made sure I'm not here to mislead anyone. But another thing I want to do is, you know, so some of them comments also are like, I'm wasting my time and I need to, let me show you something real quick. You can thank me later, Defiance, because I guarantee you all these people I'm talking about are watching my videos. They've proven it time and time again. And for one, if you watch the one where I was at my old employer, Hornish Brothers, I have to check if that's still up or whatever, but or I'll just add a clip here, but one of the managers who is also city council came out, "Hey, Mr. Steele, ain't you got nothing better to do?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." And that's your guys' fault, right? And then he says, "I take it we're going to be on one of your videos." "Yes, sir, you are," right? Fountain City Leasing, Advanced Powder Coating. How's it going?
All right. Got nothing better to do today?
Nope.
I think we're going to make one of your videos, huh?
Yeah, sure are. And so, I mean, that's just proving that they're watching my videos. And proof number 2 is right here, and you can thank me, Defiance. I want to point this out. So, if you see the buildings here, right, I want to, first of all, the, I said gray or whatever, they're paint, and if you watch the video, Paint It Black, it's titled Paint It Black, or I think it's called Paint It Black, and where I'm talking about where it's turning our world dark and gray. And so this color that they're painting all this, it's a dark, like a dark gray, but what it is, it's actually, if you get up close to it, it's a blue, blue with a gray. It's a blue color with a gray shade, whatever, I can't, but almost from here it almost looks black, right, or a real dark gray, but you get up close and you can tell it's like a real dark blue. But what I want to point out, if you notice anything yet, and when I first started showing this stuff, it wasn't like that, but they're painting the tops of these, because in that video I said, you know, everything's going dark and gray, and there's no longer any blues or I mean any greens or yellows, right? Well, guess what they did? I mean, you can see it right here, right? So since then they came along all these and painted the top edge green, right? So, you know, that's what they're doing. You know, it's on this one too, you know, it's on the, they're doing it, and then on the restroom too. So, you know, so my point is, don't be telling me I'm you know, I'm not exactly wasting my time, because obviously I've gotten something done there, and they 100% are watching my videos, and that is their little answer to, because it wasn't like that until the other day. That's their little answer to, oh, let's put some green in there because he said greens, right? Who cares about the greens? That wasn't the point, but who cares? I mean, it don't matter, and I'm not trying to, oh, you got something to say, do you? Oh, hold on. What do you got to say about it? What do you got to say about it? Don't you do that. Hey, don't you do that. You try and break another one? You trying to break another one? But anyways, like I'm saying, so they're putting new sidewalks in there, you know, all this remodeling to my home, you know. Thanks, everybody. But I'm not, you know, I want to get back to that. I think I already said it in another video. I'm not totally cutting out what they're doing. It's going to look nice and stuff, and that's nice. I'm not trying to cut on that so much. But my point I was making that day is they're so worried about something that don't actually need done and ignoring the stuff that does need done. That's all I was trying to say with that. And it does bother me. It's not just this, you know, I'm not picking on our city over that, and our city council people. I'm not picking on them over this whole changing of the color stuff. It looks nice. I'm not going to say it don't. And it's a nice color. I think it's cool. But, I mean, it's just a point of what is happening worldwide. This is going on. That they're, you know, they're just changing everything dark and gray. Oops. Say hello there, People's Whiskey. Say hello in there. Hey. Whoa. You just want to go get those animals, ain't you? I'll try not to make this one too long, but I want to dispel some concerns that some people may have. Like I said previously, that, you know, I got people coming on the comments acting like I'm foolish and I'm not proving nothing. I'm just on here wasting my time or whatever, and trying to make excuses and sympathize with the sheriff's department. If you watched my video, if you haven't watched it, where I caught the sheriff himself refusing to do his job on camera, I'll put that in here. Otherwise, it's you know, it'd be interesting for you to check that out. Our sheriff, our elected sheriff, is refusing to uphold his duty and do his job and uphold his oath. So otherwise, you know, I got, you know, a couple of different people commented on here. You haven't proven nothing. You haven't proven nothing. Well, okay, I'm gonna, if this works, I think I found copies of several things. So let me tell you where all of this started with the sheriff's department. All of my problem 2 years ago now, almost in a month it'll be 2 years. The sheriff's department totally violated my rights and jailed me for no reason, and then and from that point it ruined my life, because the rest of the city, or the rest of these local officials, I should say, including my employer and my lawyer, all sided with these people to prevent me from, you know, all they would have had to done is seen the facts and drop the case and, you know, throw it out. And that's what should have been done. And I'm going to show you this here exhibit, whatever, you know, I'm not sure how they're exhibited. Anyways, but these are things I turned into the court, the local court here, where Judge Rohr should have seen all this and allowed me my motion to withdraw plea. He refused to do so. And so I have right here will be this is the officer's report, Officer Little's report from my first night of being arrested on November 11th while I was at work. Okay, they came to my work after they already seen that there was no issues. And he showed up, and anyways, in his report, he wrote, if you check out the first three things that they should be highlighted, and it says that officer observed any signs of physical harm or violence, however it's written, and he circled no. And then the next one, that defendant, me, you know, or however it's written on there, was believed to have any weapons or whatever, no. And then the next one says that the defendant was believed to be any kind of threat, no. Okay, and that's the page that went to the prosecutor, Troy, or acting prosecutor, whatever, this assistant city law director who took on this case for the state. He had that stuff the very next morning while I was sitting in jail. And at that point, the judge should have said, Mr. Steele, we're releasing you and dropping your case and throwing your case out. Instead, he chose to go along with Mr. Essex, and Mr. Essex had this page because it goes to the prosecutor, and this right here shows that I should have never been thrown in jail or charged for such a crime. And, you know, that proves that part right there, okay? And so, I mean, I don't know, but still, we're going to have sympathizers to this system that want to come on here and act like, oh, well, because they're the law, they had the right to do so. No, sir, they did not have the right to do this. And this paper alone proves it. That morning, they realized that that officer messed up by throwing me in jail. And instead of reprimanding that officer, Officer Little, who has much more involved in this than we want to talk about, isn't that right, Mr. Austin Little? Austin Little, I'm going to spill the beans because you guys won't frickin' play nice, okay? We're going to get down to what really, the whole reason I was really thrown in jail, Mr. Austin Little. Anyways, the prosecutor, or Troy Essex, they want to keep correcting me saying he's not the prosecutor. No, he's not. The prosecutor, the county prosecutor or whatever in the main court, he is the one that was acting as prosecutor in my case. At that point, he should have said, you were not supposed to be in jail. We're going to throw this out. But they knew if they did that, but at this time, I wasn't even threatening to sue. My thing was, hey, you guys messed up, fix it, right? I was trying to be as honorable as can be about it. And even though that alone would have gave me the right to sue, instead I didn't, I wasn't threatening that or nothing. I was just like, hey, this is bullcrap, but instead they took it further and threw me out of my home. Okay. And so then the next day I was arrested by Sergeant Mosier, Sergeant Deputy Mosier, there is a very big conflict of interest that we may get into about Mr. Mosier. Okay, so these two, when we get down to what was really going on with Little and then how Mosier gets involved, okay, I was totally set up, and we'll get to that later. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, the rest of stuff I got already proves the truth of, that alone, what I just showed you, that paper alone proves that I should have not been arrested and thrown in jail. Okay, but even though they didn't believe even though they didn't see no signs of harm, they observed no signs. Okay, and instead they and from their supposed investigation, they found that I was not believed to be a threat. Well, then why did they decide to go then take it further and show up at my work and then arrest me and throw me in jail? Okay, you get what I'm saying? And then they showed up with their hands on their guns. Even the one officer put in his report, he was had his gun ready in case I might do something. You had no business harassing me. And okay, so then the very next day, I was then arrested, pulled over for no reason, and arrested, even though no officers observed me do anything wrong or found me doing anything wrong. But the truth is, Sergeant Mosier come running up to my car when he pulled me, my truck, he pulled me over, come running up, said, what do you think you're doing? And he says, his exact words were, Deputy Little seen you drive by and told me to come and arrest you. Okay, let's be clear. When Deputy Little, he was reporting to an accident. He seen me drive past him on State Route 111. I was on a Ohio State Route, okay, State Route 111. And he seen me drive by on a public highway, and because of that, he told Mosier to come and arrest me. And, but Mosier come to find me and found me at my brother's house doing nothing wrong. And at no time did they find me doing anything wrong. And instead, he waited till I left my brother's house and was nowhere in sight. He was parked behind my truck. But when I left, when I got out on the 111, State Route 111, he was nowhere in sight. I get near almost a mile down the road, and suddenly he's on my ass. So that means Mosier broke the law, speeding to catch up to me and pull me over for no reason. He had absolutely no reason to pull me over. He pulled me over, and you know, here's the thing. Here in Defiance County, first of all, the sheriffs aren't wearing body cams. None of them used to. The city cops used to not. Now, after Rob Schaefer's case, now suddenly they're wearing body cams. The sheriff's department is not wearing body cams. They do not have body cams, and the one reason for that is because they are always violating people. Always. Almost everybody that's been in trouble by the sheriff's department they have been violated by the sheriff's department. So of course they're not going to have the body cams, because that would be incriminating against them. Furthermore, the only thing they did release to when Media Defiance requested public information, whatever the term is for it, I can't think of it right now, sorry. But Freedom of Information Act, right? The only thing they released was the 9/11 call, and that's because the alleged victim, who was trying to pull some shit on me out of spite or whatever, said what, so they came there, and that's the only thing they released because it seems incriminating, right? But the truth is, they got there, and and by the time they got there, she's like, no, there's not, I really didn't even want you guys to get here, and I'll show you from her affidavit. We'll get to that in a minute. So anyways, that next night, Sergeant Mosier arrested me, accusing me of being in my house, okay, and then took my clothes that I had in my truck, a couple of pairs of clothes, took that and said that was evidence that I was in my house, and to this day they refuse to give even that stuff back, okay. What they have done is write out theft, and on such a large scale. So, but then we got, well, anyways, so then all right, so he arrested me, right? Because Little wanted him, because Deputy Little, who has some real shady stuff involved in this, wanted me arrested. So Mosier arrested me, okay? And then I'll show you this report right here. This is what he submitted, and it was notarized. This is his affidavit, notarized with a complete lie, okay? He says, if you read it, on 11/13, okay, that would have been a Saturday. Now the problem is, I was already sitting in jail because he wrongfully arrested me on 11/12, and he wrote 11/13. Now everybody wants to say that is enough to get it thrown out, okay? Number one, that's enough to get it thrown out because he submitted false information on his statement and had it wrong. 11/13, I was already sitting in jail. Okay, he did not arrest me on 11/13, but he claims I violated the protection order on 11/13. Furthermore, right now, I can't do it properly. I mean, I could post some stuff up, but I can't do it. But if you look into it under the Ohio codes and all this and that, the protection order that they chose to put on me on their own, that the alleged victim never asked for it. In fact, the alleged victim said she wasn't a victim. They had no victim. But they decided on their own to put that protection order on. And that protection order was unlawful. The court had no right to order me out of my house. It's my house. They have to, a set of things have to happen and to meet a certain requirements to give them that authority under the code they charge me with. And if those requirements are not met, then they do not have a right to put on a protection order unless the person asked for it. Okay, but they did. But so he submitted that I supposedly violated protection order, which was unlawful to begin with. So they had no right and no power to enforce it. But they tried to, and they did, and he threw me in jail for 3 more nights. Okay, he arrested me Friday night. I was arrested Thursday night. Then the next night I got out the next morning, and then afternoon, I should say. And then the next night, they see me drive down the road, and because they're hard up to throw me back in jail. Well, I wonder why, Officer Little, right? They threw me back in jail, and then based on this unlawful protection order, but that was on the 12th, and his report says the 13th, and there's the report, right? And I had a couple other, but those two things alone is the proof. All these people are saying you haven't proven nothing. What does that prove? That proves plenty right there, and anyone who doesn't want to agree with that just don't understand the law. Okay? And hold on a minute. Okay, anyways, then now we have the alleged, so now we have the alleged victim's affidavit is she was not harmed, and she did not feel threatened, it says on there, and furthermore, she did not even want officers to respond. She says so right in her affidavit. That affidavit was filled out because the reason she did that is after I found out. I had no idea about this. This wasn't until almost 4 months later when my lawyer talked me into a deal. Okay, my lawyer talked me into that deal having this affidavit and not telling me about it. My lawyer did not tell me about those the other two things that I just posted up, and there's several more bits of information. Right now, these are the ones I can find because I'm trying to find. Right now, my stuff's a mess. If anybody's been following along, but I'm trying to put some stuff out there to settle these people who are going to say you haven't proven nothing, or no, you're wrong. I'm not wrong. I know what the law states and what they're allowed to do and not to do, so furthermore, the alleged victim told me after I was allowed back to my home, says to me, oh, I went to Troy Essex and told him the next day. I went and said, hey, I never asked for a protection order. This ain't right. He needs to be allowed back in his home. You're causing problems for everybody in this home if he's not allowed back in his home, because everyone's going to suffer because he's not here taking care of things, right? And it's his home and he has every right to it. And Troy Essex, and I got recordings of this stuff, of her telling this, and I'm sure if I had to, I could get a hold of her and have her come on video and say it. Okay, he told her, well, he deserves to hit rock bottom, and I'm not going to release this protection order because I need that in order to get him to accept a deal. That's what he told her, word for word. Okay, and here's a part of her affidavit, which she went to my lawyer and said, hey, I've talked to this prosecutor. He refuses to drop this, and he refuses to drop the protection order, which was never asked for, and he's not doing nothing and not listening to me. And so he was violating the alleged victim's rights. Troy Essex violated the alleged victim's rights, not only my rights, but the alleged victim's rights, right? And so my lawyer, my paid lawyer, Mr. Nicholas Fee out of Bryan, took this affidavit, or took her statement and turned it into an affidavit and then notarized it for her, right? So it made it an official affidavit. This was her only actual official statement given to police. Okay, she never gave no official statement. She told them when they got there, no, I didn't want you guys, nothing happened more than an argument. Everything's fine. And I really didn't want you guys to respond, and everything's fine, right? And instead, they pursued it, and my lawyer then had this information and had her only official statement that said she did not feel threatened and was not harmed and did not want anyone to respond, and all this stuff in defense of me. And my lawyer hid this from me, hid all of this information from me. And I didn't find out until he talked me into a deal, and I ended up getting back to my house. And that's, so that's what happened there. So for anyone who wants to, eat it, Eat it. There it is. There's your proof. Eat it. Okay. Now I have more proof than that. Way more proof of stuff than that. Then you go, everything that's happened since then. Now I got the sheriff with his own words saying, I'm not going to do nothing about, that's not theft. That's not theft. What exactly is theft? Here, let's show what theft is. Right here, right on the screenshot. Okay. Now that's what theft is. My stuff is stolen, and the sheriff, Doug Engel, refuses to uphold the Constitution, refuses to abide by his oath, his sworn oath, right? And, you know, so this proves it. My lawyer, those forms of just what I showed you right here today, that stuff alone proves all this stuff, you know. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll get more stuff out, and, you know, as soon as I'm able to, I'll do a much better job on this to explain it to you when I can, you know, do it properly. But anyways, you can't argue the facts, and right there's the facts. And they had no right to keep me in jail, no right to arrest me to begin with, and certainly no right to put a protection order on me. All of this stuff, they ignored all this stuff and violated their oaths, violated my rights. They violated the law. The only laws broken here was broken by Troy Essex, Judge Roars, the sheriff's office, my lawyer. Those are the people, those are the criminals. Those are the people that broke the law, not me. Thanks for watching, everybody, and talk to you later. Now, for no reason, and I'm gonna go ahead and arrest you and lock you in that barn for 4 days. Are you okay with that?
So you can't do that because you're refraining me from my
I can't.
liberty.
Well, right. But yeah, you guys can do that. I'm telling you, I don't care what I was told. When my stuff was not returned to me, it should be considered stolen. There's nothing you're gonna do. Okay, our sheriff, Doug Engel, refuses to do his job.
I did my
You
job.
refuse to do your job.
No, I did.
Tell the people you refuse to do your job in Defiance County. I'm telling you, what are you doing to uphold your constitutional duty?
Larry, go and take
It's your constitutional duty. Tell us what classifies as theft. Define theft for me.
Larry,
Define theft.
Larry, I'm not going to get into a debate with you.
Yeah, you're not going to define because you know my stuff is stolen.